Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm here with my group. I here to explain you Manner of Articulation book by fourth group. Let's meet the members. Here we go. Approximant.
Let's start to understanding approximant. Approximant is phonetic sound that is produced by bringing one articulator in the vocal tract close to another without, however, causing audible friction. Approximant includes semi-vowels such as the E, G sound in yes or the W sound in were. Some approximants resemble vowels in acoustic and articulatory properties, and the terms and glide are often used for this non-syllabic vowel-like segment. The correlation between semi-vowels and vowel is strong enough that cross-language difference between semi-vowels corresponding with the difference between the related vowels. The third English proximant sound R, W, and Y are created by contrasting the vocal that strictly but not so much that the air becomes turbulent as it passes through. The first is R. Like the back of the tongue is bunched high so the side of the tongue touch the back side teeth. And W, lips are made into a small circle. The back of the tongue is lifted. And J, the tongue blade is pressed very close to the back of the tooth ridge. Example, R sound is R, V sound is V, and G sound is G. There are essentially a syllabic R, and that creates a syllable. The other three R contralto vowels are combination of a vowel sound and R. Semi-vowel, it's V and G. The V and G are called semi-vowel because although the vocal tract is relatively unrestricted during the formation of both of these sounds, they are not syllabic, meaning they do not force a syllabic to occur. Another vowel-like quality of these two sounds is that two sound vowels, also called diphthong, include a sound that is nearly identical to a W or Y in their pronunciation. American English two-sound vowels include the following: A, O, U, A, and O, long L, long E, long U, I sound, and O sound.
Plosive.
Plosive consonant sound. Plosive consonants are made by completely blocking the flow of air as it leaves the body normally, followed by releasing the air. English pronunciation contains 5 plosive phonemes. It is P, B, T, K, and G. The sound B, G are voiced. They are pronounced with vibration in the vocal cords. And P, T, K are voiceless. They are produced with air only. The vowels plosive are often aspirates, produced with a puff of air in English pronunciation. Plosive spellings are P in purse, B as in bell, T as in talk and stopped, K as in kid, con, queen, crowning and excited, and G is in gone and exhaust. The voiceless alveolar plosive sound T is often replaced with a voiceless glottal plosive in connected speech. This most frequently occurs when T appears at the end of a syllable and the following sound is consonant.
Now, plosives are the first group of sounds that beatboxers make, and they make them by stopping the airway and releasing sound out. And there are different kinds of plosive that you can make with the human mouth by stopping the sound with different parts of the anatomy of your mouth.
Plosive consonants are oral sound. The soft fillet is raised so that air from the lungs cannot pass upward into the nasal cavity. The air can therefore only escape through the oral cavity. All plosives are produced by a complete obstruction of the airflow at some position in the mouth. For example, by the lips coming together, air from the lungs is then compressed behind the temporary obstruction and the air pressure builds up in the mouth. The obstruction is then removed, in this case by the lips parting, and the air rushing out of the mouth with a slight explosive force, hence the name plosive. Because plosives are made by a complete obstruction, the briefly stop the airflow, they are also referred to as stops or stop consonant. Plosive or stops occur in pairs and may be produced with and without the vocal folds vibrating. Recall that sounds produced without vocal fold vibration are said to be voiceless. In contrast, sounds produced with vocal fold vibration are said to be voiced. There are three pairs of voiced plosives. They are outlined below.
So the first obvious kind of plosive is to just say "ba" like that. "Ba." Like if you're going to say bogies, yeah? "Ba" for bogies. And that's called a bilabial plosive. Bilabial means lips. Bi means two, and labial means lips, so two lips plosive. Bilabial is just the posh kind of phonetical term that scientists like to use. They can't just say lip plosive, but yeah, because it uses both your lips. Pa, ba, ba, ba. And pa is another one, yeah. Pa is another bilabial plosive. Ba for bogies and pa for print. They're both bilabial plosives.
Bilabial plosive, the first pair of plosive sound in produced with the two lips coming together to form a complete closure. The sound are known as bilabials. They are P and B, as in P as in pit, pan, and cup, and B as in beat, pen, and lap. You can test for yourself the effect from the voicing. Hold your larynx gently but firmly between the index finger and thumbs of one hand and say the sound P. Remember to say it as a sound at the start of the word pit and not as the name of the alphabet letter P, without vowel sound like P. You should be unable to detect any change in sensation through your fingers. Now say the sound B. You would now feel a sickly tingling sensation in your fingers as the vocal folds vibrate. The only difference then between P and B is that B is voiced and P is not. The typically developing child usually masters the use of bilabial plosives by around 3 years of age.
Now there are other plosives that we make. What about one using our throat like this? K k k k k k k k k, or g g g, using the glottis down there. Gl g g g, k k k g g g. They're using different parts of our anatomy in the mouth.
A pair of plosive sound is made with the back of the tongue contacting the soft palate or phlegm. The sounds are therefore known as volar plosives. They are K and K. K as in coat, K and lock, and G as in god, gun, and log. The velar plosive K is voiceless and the velar plosive G is voiced.
And also, what about this sound? T, t, t. Another plosive using the tongue and the alveolar ridge. That's that bony bit above your front teeth. T, 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 t. So they're all different kinds of plosives that we make, and the plosives sound different because they're using different parts of your anatomy in the mouth.
One pair of voiceless voiced plosives is articulate with the tip of the tongue contacting the alveolar ridge just behind the upper incisors. You can feel this for yourself if you run the tip of your tongue backwards from your upper incisors and up over the roof of your mouth. The alveolar ridge is the bony protrusions just behind where your teeth meet the roof of your mouth. The sounds are therefore known as alveolar plosives, and they are T as in tin, T, and hat. The alveolar plosives T is voiceless. It is thought that the alveolar plosives take a little longer to master than the bilabial plosives.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Fadli from English Literature 2A, and I will explaining you a little bit about nasal, fricate, and affricate.
Fricative.
Okay, next for fricative. Fricative is while the nasal and stop consonant involve a completely blockage of the vocal tract. Fricative sound involve only a partial blockage of the vocal. And then vocal fricative sound involve only a blockage. For example, you create a t stop consonant when you block airflow completely with your tongue against the alveolar ridge. But if you let up with the tongue a bit and let the air seep through, you will make an S fricative consonant. The English fricative sound are as follow, like F in fro and calf, like V like vine and have, and like thick bath, and the like rather, feather, and S like sweet and bath. Airflow, air is forced through tongue and alveolar ridge.
Nasal.
So what is nasal? Nasal consonants are created when you completely block air flow through your mouth and let the air pass through your nose. There are three nasal consonants in English. There is n, and ing. For example, m like mad, call. Oral passage is blocked by closing the lips bilabial. And n, for example, no and man. And for example, like going, fang, just like that. Like nasal consonants, stop consonants occur when the vocal tract is closed completely but for through the nose. Instead, the air quickly builds up pressure behind the articulation and then release in a burst. English consonant following stop consonant.
Affricative.
What is affricate? Affricate is when you stop consonant mix with fricative consonant and the result is an affricate consonant. Affricate consonants start as stop sound with air building in up behind an articulator which then release through a narrow channel as a fricative instead of clean burst and stop to do. Okay, thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum.
Flaps.
First, the flaps.
The flaps in the phonetics, the flap or tap is a type of consonant sound which is produced with a single contraction of the muscle so that one articulator, such as tongue, is thrown against another. Flaps refers to a way of pronouncing a consonant that involves the tongue lightly touching the roof of the mouth. The best way to remember this would be think that the tongue flaps up when pronouncing a flap. To an extent, the pronunciation of a flap can lead to little ambiguity regarding exactly what sound is being said. This is due to the fact that the flap is a kind of shortcut that makes full enunciation, also called diction, or of a given sound unnecessary. Example of the flap within the English language can be found in the word better. In many dialects of English, the TT in the middle of the word is pronounced with a flap, through which the sound is not fully enunciated, but rather produced through the rapid movement of the tongue toward the roof of the mouth. One result of this flap is one word is better. When spoken of the sound like a better with a D in many dialects in English because the sounds T and D are pronounced using the same part of the mouth, and the flap of the tongue prevents the speaker from making a clear distinction between the one sound and the one another. The rule for the flap is this based on the specific upward movement of the tongue. Whenever this movement occurs, the consonant sound rarely produces contains a flap. There's several different examples of the flap in several different languages, but the example cited above is one of the most prominent ones with the English language. The flap is generally found more in some dialects of a given language than that it is other dialects. For example, in dialect of English, then instead of full and proper pronunciation of sound, it will be possible to actually avoid the flap and announce the TT sound in the middle of the word border. In several dialects of English, though the flap is present. To an extent, this presence of the flap has the effect of adding a little character and touch and formality to the relevant pronunciation. The flap makes it sound like a speaker is from a particular region or city, as opposed to speaking some form of abstract or generic form of the language.
Trill.
It's the trill. The trill in the phonetic, the trill is a consonantal sound produced by vibration between the active articulator and passive articulators. Standard Spanish RR as in perro, for example, on alveolar trill. A trill is made by articulator being held in place and the eye stream causing to the vibrate. Vibrate. And usually a trill vibrates for two or three contacts, but made up to 5 or even more geminate. However, trill may also be produced with only one contact. While single contact trill are similar to taps and flaps, a tap or flaps differ from a trill, then that is made by muscular contraction rather than a stream. The end of my group. So if you have a question or you want say something, please reply in the comment for let me explain to you or my friend will explain to you too. So goodbye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.